Hey, good morning, guys. Here I am, Tim, your no purpose nothing. Let me get this hat off. I just got here to this park. It's absolutely beautiful. Little lake right there. You got those fisher guys that showed up. Uh, Planes flying over. They're not always looking at me. Can't be that paranoid. Can't look at everybody and think that every single person is a stalker. It's a bad It's a bad deal. You can't do that. It just takes you down a bad track. You got to start checking that thinking and actually worrying less, even if they are. I mean, who cares, right? What can they do? They try to aggravate you. That's the whole idea. All right, but that's not what I'm here to talk about today. What I want to talk about, I kind of got some notes here because I don't always remember everything and I don't talk fast enough. We're going to talk about the way your brain operates in your subconscious mind, okay? So quickly, let me explain something to you. The left side of your brain is basically the gatekeeper. All right, the left side pays attention to everything, keeps a value hierarchy for you, and it even operates from your subconscious and has base programming that you've already been available to. But that's you, okay? That's really your protector. Now the thing is that your right side of your brain is basically like the bulldog. I've said this before. It's a pit bull on a chain, right? And that chain is grasped by your left side. Okay. So what happens is the gang stalking. What they're doing is use that as all the distractions, all these physical opportunities and world events and the things, the downplaying, the low self-image, everything that all gets put in your subconscious mind as well as your conscious mind while they're sliding the subconscious mind stuff behind you. And that's what makes you emotional and react, and you want to look at things in a completely paranoid fashion, and it can turn you schizophrenic. That's basically what they're trying to do. So when you talk to people about things, it's amazing how they don't believe you. You get aggravated. It's like you're seeing what you believe is real, and that your mind is seeing, and it's been programmed to see, and you're reacting, and you're there. I mean, you might as well be sitting in an artillery barrage and no one else hears it or feels the explosions. I mean, it's definitely frustrating. But you have to understand, if they're not understanding, it's because they got a brain too. And they're also being influenced and manipulated by their own value hierarchy that they carry around. I've written a booklet on this, okay? If anybody's interested, I wrote an entire book. It's about 30 pages. It's actually a marketing book. I wrote it and I used it for clients. Very psychologically oriented, but all of the psychology that affects advertising and the way people write is all the same thing as the way any type of psychologist or mental event or mind control issue. It's the same thing. Okay, I received several rewards for writing the booklet because it's very important. It's psychologically understandable in any event. Right? And this particular event for the booklet is just advertising. All right. And if you're interested, you just send me an email, labrat breakout at protonmail.com, and I'm happy to share it. Or anything else that's been written. I mean, I have several things from Free Will Society that are written. Very good stuff. Okay. But let's get real quick here. Back to the brain. Sorry. Uh, your brain processes 11 million bits of information per second, of which only about 1% of that is your conscious mind, what you're paying attention to right now. That could mean the radio going on, or you're listening to my words, and your other thoughts are going through your process mind. Your subconscious actually is the whole rest of it, basically 10 million bits of information. All right. Now imagine your mind. It's like your cell phone. All right. You look at your cell phone, and you have a screen. Right, and on the screen, that's your conscious mind. Now subconsciously, like on your phone, all the calculations are going around in the back. Right. That means subconsciously, what's going on is that the the air pressure, the temperature, your place on the planet, your circadian clock, all of these things are being calculated subconsciously. Now, a little bitty trick or kind of a secret about this stuff is that back when they developed artificial intelligence in the Kismet, right, it's the same thing. See, we still, as human beings, cannot write artificial intelligence because we're trying to use the 1% of our calculated conscious mind to basically program another 10 million bits of information that it's not consciously existent. All right? That's why our artificial networks and neural networks, deep learning neural networks, GANs, which are generative adversarial networks, uh, these are all being developed, and basically what you do is when you're building them, you build the base, and then you put the answer at the top, and then you run it through a database of information, right? And they can continuously learn, and then you can connect them and make them learn as a kind of a hive mind type of thing, right? But that's what's going on with your mind, is that you've got all this subconscious programming. I mean, and you carry what I wrote in the booklet is a value hierarchy. All right, your value hierarchy changes. I mean, you know, if you're trying to look for something, and what happens is when you're looking for gang stalkers, or you're trying to focus on this, you're being paranoid. You're trying to, you know, stay vigilant. Right? We don't want to call it paranoia. It is a paranoia. Levels of paranoia are healthy. I mean, some of them are unhealthy, because when they carry you over into anxiety, then you're experiencing a bad cause to your paranoia. Okay, paying attention and understanding. If you were a soldier and you're in a war environment, right? You're paying attention to everything, and you pay attention to every detail. You look for suppositions that can occur. Some things you're not aware of, but you try to leave that as an intangible understanding. Uh, you know, and you have to be alert, all right? But you also have to check your paranoia. You have to check your targets. You have to be sure that you're not in friendly fire. You have to be sure that you don't have friendlies in an area. There's a lot that you have to do to be sure that you're not hurting anyone else on your side. All right, so the same thing goes on with your paranoia when you're trying to look for all of this stuff, okay? Your value hierarchy changes. And these values of the paranoia and whatnot, they reached up to the top. And so they call that a reticular activation. It sits in the hypothalamus, and it comes out of your brain. It's basically a chemical reaction that pushes things to the front of your cell phone screen. So you touch it, and then what happens is, boom, it pops up. But all that calculation, everything goes in the bag. Right? Meanwhile, that calculation is just waiting for you to touch it. Right? That's just like a value hierarchy in your mind. Right? You can look reticular activations up. It's all really very simple mind science. All right. I've terribly talked too long again. I have so much more that I want to talk about. But I got like 2 minutes left. I don't want to make it too much for anybody to have to discern it over time. All right, so first thing I want to talk about is things that are preventing you from understanding the realities and the way to maintain a spiritual healing and a mindful awareness that doesn't pull you into anxiety. Now, what you need to learn, and you already know, okay, this is something you for sure know. You look at all the trollers out there that'll just blast you, and they just try to tear up whatever you say. And then some of them get really intelligent. They'll make a whole case, and you know, I've seen several comments where the people are making statements, and they're probably, you know, let's give them a chance. They'll say, hey, pretty smart people. They just sit with a different value hierarchy that's not within the understandings that we understand, because they don't see the things that we do. All right, I mean, they look at us for buying a Rambler when they're Corvette fans, and they're looking at the guy buying a Rambler and saying, "Oh, why would he buy the Rambler?" I mean, it just seems like it's stupid. You know, I've got a Corvette; it's awesome. Why is he buying a Rambler? Well, you know what? We may like Ramblers, and we may like to put them together. We may not get them nice looking and heal them. We don't really particularly care about Corvettes just because you drive one. Doesn't matter. I'm just trying to get to point A to point B. I'm a more objective or industrial individual when it comes to transportation. You can ride your Corvette. You see how the difference is? All right? All right. So what happens is you've got these trollers out there that are trying to torture people. They want you to argue. All right? And, you know, you want to step in and say, oh, dude, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. I like my Rambler or whatever, you know. And that's okay. But in true nature, it's forcing you to react, all right? This is a troller. He's trying to get you involved and get you angry, get you to tell him different, get him, you know, it doesn't matter. It's not going to work. I mean, the only thing that's working is that you're reacting and you're getting angry and you're telling this idiot that, hey, look, man, why don't you just put your nose somewhere else? Because it has never been able to see what we see or what I see or your experience. You have none. So, either sit here and learn, read some of the things that we've experienced, look at the real technology, look at all the presentations that are being made public lately, uh, you know, and shut up about trying to put these people down or any of us for trying to be strong together and trying to help ourselves by using our minds together and learning from each other. Okay? They don't get that. Okay, that's about trollers, right? Leave them alone. Who cares? I occasionally get lost and I'll say something too, but it doesn't matter, all right? Put your time and effort into learning the things that are being shared, all right? Don't worry about these guys, all right? Now, the next thing I want to tell you is very important about fake TIs, okay? There are a lot of fake TIs, all right? And I've been starting to notice it more into my studies. I try to pay as much attention as I can. I'm not, some, super internet guy, or I have a deep psychological background, and I've written, and I've got a lot of experience. But what I'm noticing is that these guys will get on and they will share a story that they believe has happened to them, but it truly hasn't really happened to them. They're only sharing it because they know it's happened to others, and they know it's a baseline operational procedure to trigger emotions in others, okay? So what happens is that they're trying to trigger emotions on events that you've already had, and they're trying to show you the negative things that they've done in the process, in trying to spirit you on into, yeah, this is how you do it. This is how you hurt them. They should all die. They should go to jail. We hate them. Okay, look, man, I'm just going to tell you straight up. All that anger and frustration, all that revenge feeling, right? Look, I understand it, right? Who doesn't want to label these guys? Who doesn't want to do some equal damage back to them, right? But what I can tell you is that by reacting like that and looking at the things that they do and talking about and then agreeing with them and then basically like partnering up and they go, let's raise our swords together and go after them and puncture their tires and let's do all these things. Okay, look, man, it's just taking you down a bad path. They're not trying to be good. Some of them genuinely are, right? You just have to vet it. Look at it yourself and try to understand it. Try not to become as emotional as they're trying to provoke you. And you and I and every other TI are set with triggers to do that. By hearing it from someone else, by gaining that anxiety, you looking at them and understand, or you're seeing and feeling bad for that person, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to try to recognize these emotions and the triggers, okay? And these fake TIs will put that out there to try to reinforce things that have happened to you and make you feel even stronger, more anxious and angry and vengeful over them. Okay? And you look at your faith. If you can gain some faith in God, you'll start to understand a lot better that you don't need to be unpeaceful over hearing someone else's turmoil and suffering. You can have genuine affection and understanding, but don't pull yourself into their anger. Hold on to your own peace of mind. Okay, I've talked way too long, guys. 14 minutes, man. I'm sorry. I'll try to keep the next one shorter. I have a ton more I've been trying to get notes on. All right. I love you guys. God bless America. And please take care.